Forgive me, Angie. You know I don't be up on the politics.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another powerful show on the RTV radio show. I'm here with my co-host, Brother Nance.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes. So we are here on the RTV radio show brought to you and produced by RadioOnFire Diamond K. RTV stands for Restoring the Village, and each and every Tuesday we are here restoring our village. We're bringing some great people in to spotlight or to talk about great topics. We had a great topic last week. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. We talked about school police. Being on the schools. Thank you for continuing the momentum of conversation, positive dialogue, and please be sure to follow that thread and be involved.
Yes.
And so thank you so much for my guest on this evening.
Powerhouse.
Yes, Powerhouse is all about the women today.
Yes.
I do a lot for the men, so don't get jealous, but I do have none other than Mrs. LaQuisha Hall. She is Baltimore City Teacher of the Year.
Of the decade.
So many other things.
Of the century. Of the universe. Yes. You already know.
I also have Miss Odette Ramos. Let me make sure I said the name right. She's one of the organizers of Baltimore Women United. And again, this is all about women empowerment.
Yeah.
And so we're just so excited to have the both of you on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, as you all know, please go to the RadioOnFire.com page and look at the video. We do welcome any comments, and you can also always call in at 404-436-1277. Information will always be on the page, and again, we'd like to interact.
Yes, we do.
Hey. So, we're going to go right into LaQuisha Hall. I wanted to just acknowledge you for one, just being nominated as a Baltimore City. Well, it's nominated. You are. For the Baltimore City Teacher of the Year, and so that's a great accomplishment. I'm gonna let you talk about your accomplishments as far as and even your journey with that. But she's a Carver Votech English teacher.
Yes.
And so she's doing amazing things in the community. And again, this was a spotlight that I wanted to spotlight this particular week. They just had Maryland Teacher of the Year.
Yes.
This past Friday. However, we want to thank you and let you know that we appreciate and acknowledge you as the winner of Baltimore City Teacher of the Year.
Absolutely.
You so much.
Yes.
So let's talk about how has the journey been. Because it's entire, you're still the winner. So, how is the journey?
Yes, I'll be honest. It's been interesting. I never even knew that there was a program highlighting teachers like this. So it's really cool to be recognized for something that I do every day. But I was also very proud to be one of the 7 finalists for Maryland Teacher of the Year as well, and also the winner is my frat brother. So I'm so excited for him.
That's cool.
Yes.
Which county?
Somerset County.
Somerset?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So awesome. Isn't that wonderful? And as we're just talking about, first of all, when I shared your flyer, yes, when I shared your flyer, the flyer itself was so powerful. And I just sat there and just said, it basically said my voice has power. And so I just wanted to make sure that we continue with that voice. And so I'm so happy to have Ms. Odette here with us to talk about Baltimore Women United, and as well as March on the Polls. So we'll talk about it a little later, but I do want to acknowledge that you're here, and I wanted you to just speak, about being here today.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Really appreciate it. And it really is an honor to meet the Baltimore City Teacher of the Year. Teachers are really important, influencing our young people. So Baltimore Women United was started right after Trump got elected, because lots of women said, oh my God, what just happened? Right. And so we actually, Delegate Learman sent out an email and said, hey, let's get together and figure this out. There were a lot of women who showed up who said, I've never been involved before. I need to be involved. So we took that and ran with it, and we've been doing a lot around educating women about issues in Annapolis and in the city, particularly around education and education funding. Very important because most of us are moms, so that's important for our kids to have great education. We talk a lot about sexual harassment and sexual assault, and we've been very active in that issue.
Absolutely. That's huge going on in the schools too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and as well as equal pay. You know, equal pay is extremely important. So those are some of the issues, and then we're also working on getting out the vote. And we've been working hard the last year and a half, canvassing, phone calling, and we're going to bring it all together when we go march on the polls on the 27th of October, which is the early vote Saturday. And so we have a march planned starting at St. Bartholomew's Church, and then we will march a couple blocks after the rally to go vote. And
now, is that November the 22nd?
No, that's October 27th.
27th. I thought you said 22nd. I'm about to say.
Sorry about that.
I'm about to say, 'cause my son's birthday is Saturday. That's the 20th, and I was like, how is the 22nd a Saturday again?
Right. Before
all right, cool. I wanted to make sure. So I got the right day. October 27th, y'all. October 27th.
Because you can vote at any early vote poll. So we chose this one because it's an area where there hasn't been a lot of women voting. So it's really important. So we've been flyering and canvassing and all of that. So we're excited to have Senator Barbara Mikulski as one of our speakers. We're excited to have State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby as well. So excited. And actress Sonia Sohn from The Wire will be with us. So it's going to be a great program. And Kalila Harris is going to be our MC. So we're very excited about it.
Beautiful. I love that the flyer has Slay the Vote poll party.
Yes.
It's an after party or something. I love it. I love it. So as you all see, we have a powerhouse, two individuals that are doing some amazing things, that are women, and that their voice has power. And so I'm
about to say, I do have a question though for LaQuisha. So when she was saying about teaching, now do you believe that teaching is a gift or you believe it's a science? Because a lot of people have degrees but can't teach. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and I was always a character building teacher when I was a teacher. So you know what I mean? So I wanted to know, like, you being an English teacher and how important that is for like students to learn how to write and how that builds their confidence up. Like, what keeps you going, or do you believe that teaching is a gift or believe it's a science?
I believe that teaching is a practice. Very similar to doctors, lawyers. They get the opportunity to do research and try again on a regular basis. And I believe that teachers should do the same. We should constantly educate ourselves before we try to educate our scholars. And then I also believe that a lot of times where people get frustrated with teachers is a time where they should stop and pause, just as they expect teachers to do for the scholars. So it's a practice, and with time they can get better and improve. And
see, that's why she's a teacher of the decade. Right? It's a practice because it is. I agree with it. It is a practice because, I mean, some teachers are so overwhelmed, you know what I mean, just with all the other things that you have to deal with in the school system, that they're not even allowed to really practice what they really want because they're so overwhelmed and burned out. So, you know, what are some things you do to keep yourself balanced as a teacher in Baltimore City? And how long have you been at Carver, actually?
I've been at Carver for 4 years, but I've been teaching. This is my 16th year.
Nice.
In Baltimore City schools.
Wow. My mother just retired last year.
Oh, praise the Lord.
Look, I'm supposed to be censored, right?
But I personally, I make sure that I practice self-care. We talked about that briefly. I think it's important for us to remember that as much as we're trying to pour into our scholars, we also have to pour into ourselves, allow ourselves to receive as much as we put out. And not just through self-care, but also through professional development. Taking time to reflect is very important in continuing, because if we just keep going and not stop and look back to make sure that what we're doing is working, then we're just going to keep making mistakes. So personally, I just take the time to make sure that I educate myself, and then I take what I learn and the things that work in my classroom, and I educate other educators.
I'm sure you're a cool teacher, though. I'm pretty sure the kids
love
you.
I try to be.
I'm pretty sure the kids love you, man, because, you know, it's relatability, you know, and like you said, you're doing it in a professional way. It's nothing like, you know, when we was coming up, it was nothing like seeing a professional teacher teach. You know what I mean? You didn't really, you were doing it for your parents, but you didn't want to disappoint your teacher. You know what I mean? It was like, and it's amazing that, 4 years at Carver that, those students are blessed to actually have you leading them. So I'm pretty sure that they have leaps and bounds, have done well at the school.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Seriously. It's tough being a teacher. I miss it every day. You know what I mean? I wish
you can come back. We're looking for
Oh, wait a minute. So we're gonna talk about that.
Yes, Baltimore City is recruiting.
They do want black men teachers in the school system, but when they get the black men school teachers in there, they don't know how to treat us. You know what I mean? And I just have to be honest, because it's not my first or second time, engaging with Baltimore City. And that's one profession that I would do for free. You know what I mean? Because that's how much I enjoy engaging with the kids and the families. Like, that's what's really about at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, I want to build schools. So that's why, knowing professional teachers that practice their practice is important. You know what I mean? So we can build something solid in the future. So, I just wanted to just ask those questions. I'm sorry.
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And it kind of goes into even with what Odette said, as far as advocacy for education. Can you talk about more of that?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Baltimore Women United usually works with other organizations that are doing that. So Baltimore Education Coalition has been very strong in making sure there's more school funding. So when they go to Annapolis, we try to get people there as well, which is really important. Because, like I said, we're all women. We've, been students, but a lot of us have kids. And so I want to make sure we have a great education. And so it takes the advocacy to actually, talk to the lawmakers. But we got to get the right people in there. We have to make sure that we get the right people in there, and then we hold them accountable. So all of these rallies and all of the marches are really, really important to show that we're active, we're aware. You can't pull another one on us. And that's
so
really
my question is, are y'all also educating the women that are actually going to vote? Are they been educated on the actual policies and things that they're voting for? Because a lot of people are uneducated on that side of what they're even legislation's even meaning. You know what I mean? So I think that's an important piece too. Are you guys
so
actively
we've done
doing that?
workshops on how a bill becomes a law and all of that. And then as we're taking on issues, we're really important to really look at it from all sides. We take a very intersectional approach to the work, meaning, I'm Latina, and we work with a lot of Latinas and a lot of African American women and white women, and so it's important that we're looking at all of us, and that one of us isn't going to be successful unless all of us are successful.
Absolutely.
So let's say women, white women get equal pay first. That's not good enough. We've got to make sure African American women and Latino women and all of them. So,
women just in general.
Right. So we really try to work hard and make sure that everybody sees all of the angles on these issues as well.
Absolutely.
So,
LaQuisha, didn't you win like some type of award before for teaching? Like, this wasn't your first time, right?
He's digging it up, girl.
I understand. I thought you won something before.
Did some research.
Yes.
Win something before, like some type of teaching award or something?
I don't know.
I thought years ago you won something.
Could go right into my next one of just your pageants. I remember just us meeting. What was it? 10 years, 11 years? I don't know how long.
It was in 2009.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! 2009, I had started an organization, and Mrs. Maryland. Were you Mrs. Maryland?
I was Mrs. Maryland Galaxy.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got a picture. She came. I was like, oh my gosh, can I get a picture? I pushed the children away. Like,
you did.
We've done things in the community, and just to hear her story alone, just her advocacy, and it kind of can go right into Domestic Violence Month. We talked about even sexual assault that even Odette was talking about, like just your story alone. I also attended your She Rose Awards last week. We had it last year. Lord, this is a long day. Y'all know I work. But last year, and the theme was Till I Collapse, and it was just such a powerful event. And it was even just hearing people talk about their stories of being abused sexually, and it encouraged me to speak. It encouraged me to continue to be an for women in general. And so I just wanted to thank you because you're an inspirational speaker, women empowerment. And again, you know, when you walked in the armed fatigue outfit, I was just like, yes. You know, you just don't know what's needed. You know, just telling your story, and you told it years ago. You know, and I don't know how far you want to go talking about that, but just to encourage women that it's okay to talk and that we do believe you.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's real say. Yes. But I just, if you can even just talk about, I don't know if you're doing like your pageants anymore, but what are some upcoming events or initiatives that you're working on now?
Well, first, thank you for coming to Sheroes Awards, because it's so important for the honorees who were all unsung survivors of sexual assault and domestic violence, meaning that was their first time sharing publicly. It's so important for them to see friendly faces in the audience and see that people support them when they come forward with those stories. And so thank you. I appreciate that. And Brother Nance, I have no idea what I've won anymore, to be honest with you, because we have awards all over my house at this point, and I'm just trying to find somewhere to put them. I don't remember, but it's possible. But getting back to what you had asked, I have no affiliation currently with pageantry because I kind of use it to open the door to making people feel comfortable having that conversation with me. So prior to pageantry, I tried to share with people that I was a survivor, and I used to volunteer for organizations. I'd sit behind their table, and people would walk by real fast because they'd see sexual assault awareness, and they'd cover their children's eyes when they walked, like I was a crime scene, you know. So I was frustrated by it. I entered pageantry because the women in pageantry had platforms, and their platforms, they were able to use their crown to put a spotlight on the cause. I realized that once I got people interested because they want to take pictures with me, like you said, I was like, oh yeah, so while we're in this picture, I'm a survivor, and they would always be shocked because, you know, that's not the image of a survivor to them. And
reverse
so,
psychology on them. That was a good smart move. That was a smart move. You gotta make the conversation easy for, like, in an environment like you said. It changed the dynamic when you introduced it through the pageantry. So that was very ingenious, actually.
Absolutely. And so, you know, when people want to put my crown on and take a photo, I just use the opportunity to share about sexual assault and domestic violence awareness, which I'm still doing now without pageantry because it really opened the door for me. I don't really need it to share anymore because so many people know that's what I stand for.
Right.
So now I just Sheroes Queendom Tea, which is my mentoring program for girls, will also educate young ladies who are in the mentoring program on how to prevent sexual assault and domestic violence, as well as if they're currently in a situation like that, how to remove themselves from it. And we also help them as a teacher. I'm a mandated reporter, and I let them know that, but also let them know, because I know a lot of teachers are really kind of like, oh, I don't want them to tell me. But I wish that a teacher, when I was growing up, would have seen some signs in me. It would have prevented so many things from happening in my life that happened afterwards, where I became severely depressed, very anxious. I tried to commit suicide several times, and one time took over 100 pills. Like, I was so severely down. I wish somebody would have reported it for me because I had no idea how to come forward. And I am a person who does not mind calling child protective services.
Me, but I didn't mind even when I was in the school. I'll fill it out, no problem.
Or fighting for your friends.
Yes.
You know, I mean, there's been several occasions where I know it was more, you may have posted and said, hey, do we have a shelter? Or is there resources? So you are definitely an advocate standing for that, and what better place to be than a school? High school, there someone can feel like they can go and talk to Mrs. Hall.
And that's segueing into my question, how prevalent is sexual assault, especially in high school, especially with the type of music and what the kids are doing and listening to. They're we live in an over sexualized society now. So, you know, how is that a challenge working with the girls and trying to change their mindset or get them in a space?
I'll be honest with you. What I've realized from working in the school system and talking about my story is that it is a family thing. So what I often discover, and it actually happened this school year with a young lady. I had no idea that she was going home and talking about how much she loved me in my class. But her family sent me a card where everybody in her family signed it. And I just thought that was so special.
Right.
But she didn't just bring it to school. Her and her mother brought the card to me. And so when I met the mom and we had a conversation as a group, the daughter revealed to me that she was sexually abused, and the mother, through teary eyes, was like, and I was abused too. So I realized in that moment, we're passing it down where, I'm online sharing, I'm a cycle breaker, which I am. But I realized, I believe that my role in the school outside of educating our students on how to read and write is to help families break cycles.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you took the word right out of my mouth, because I know that was just powerful for them to even have someone that they can talk to. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I provided a lot when I was in the school, like that warm place, that open door policy, like come in, no judgment zone, like, and a lot of people walk around and get judged every day. You know what I mean? And so that for them to have a place like that in a school, which is supposed to be a safe place too. That's powerful. So I mean, that's why I teach other century, decade. You know what I mean? You know.
Right. Can I get a certificate that says
that? Seriously. Because that's important, man. Like, just hearing that story just took me back to some of the situations and experience that I had, and I can imagine something that powerful that they all got to share. The daughter may not even knew the mother was, you know what I mean? I don't know, you know what I mean? But it could have been one of those type of situations, you know? So that's a great thing, man, that so thank you for providing that space for them.
Thank you.
The space, and then it even goes back, so it was probably a perfect time for the both of you to be here, but even Baltimore Women United playing a role in speaking up and going to Annapolis on behalf of victims as well. So we want to just kind of continue that conversation, but just your take on what you can do or your organization can do to help additional victims or survivors, should we say.
Yeah, well, what we did recently is, with all the Kavanaugh stuff happening, lots of women.
Yes, I was like, we're going to go right into it.
Yes, we are. A lot of women actually came to us and said, I am reliving my trauma. I am reliving my trauma. I need some help. So we have some other women who are able to, try to refer people to places where they can get some help. Because just as you said, there's people our age that have gone through that trauma but couldn't say anything. Yes, they ask why didn't I report? Why I didn't report? And there's a list of stuff. So we did a rally actually on that Thursday during the hearings, and we were downtown. And there were women with their posters, why I didn't report, and the reason why. And that was powerful, so that people knew, and we got lots of honks and everything. So it's providing that place and comfortable place for women, but then also turning that into action. Absolutely. Is extremely important. So then we also did, there's one thing to rally, but then because our senators were already going to vote against Kavanaugh. We organized phone banks so that our women could call women in other states, up to Maine or Arizona or whatever, with the help of NARAL Pro-Choice, and call them and say, hey, can you call your senator to tell them? And in those conversations was people trying to comfort each other. Okay? So part of this is just even the connection.
Creating a network,
women connecting together, all kinds of experiences, all kinds of backgrounds, we're feeling and saying the same thing.
Where none of your social status, your money, nothing matters at that point in life.
So it was really powerful for especially some of the women on the phone to hear what other people were going through, and that yes, I'm going to call Senator Collins, even though she disappointed us, and but then we're still mad, so we got to take action, and so we're trying to channel it into our march, and then keep moving forward. So it's really what we're trying to do is take all of that emotion and try to put it into action.
Nice.
And never stop. And that kind of goes back to your theme last year, till I collapse.
Yeah.
You keep fighting. You keep pushing.
That's right.
When I shared the flyer or the post on our page, and the one person, my godmother, and I want to shout her out, Apostle Linda Harvey. She was like, "Yes, I'm so glad to have her on." She does a lot for women that have been traumatized as well. So we want to shout her out, Apostle Linda Harvey, Fragrance of Faith Ministries. She is such an amazing woman. She keeps me grounded. When we talk about things that even brought up last year, some things that I didn't talk about. And so it's just knowing that the more I talk, the more that it may help someone else. And this woman of God, she has always been there praying for me, just helping me, just everything. And last year I went to her conference, and it's just funny I had to say all of this, but I went to her conference, a women's conference, my godmama, and it was I Am a Cycle Breaker. And that was the first time I actually said it publicly before yours, but I just wasn't ready. But I will be ready next time. Because I'm till I collapse, right? But you just never know. And you know, things that happened to me years ago. It's so disheartening when I hear someone say, "Well, why did you not say it then?" You know how much time and you bury a story,
right?
You put it behind you.
It's only to survive,
and it's yes. So I just wanted to, and again, I won't go all into details. I would definitely have to bring her in so she could be right here with me in case I cry. But shout out again to Apostle Linda Harvey. Her birthday is coming up, and she will be celebrated for her 60th birthday this Sunday. 60. But this is a person who will always hold us, love us, nurture us. And I know you know her very, very well. Yes. So, we got to make sure that the people that are in our communities, that we acknowledge. And it kind of goes back to the whole restoring the village, the whole village itself. I mean, look at the table. Look at who's at this table right now. You have people that are fighting for you in Annapolis, fighting for you in school systems, fighting for you in homes, fighting for you as a business owner, fighting. Even shout out to Diamond K, our producer, just having this platform.
Yes, indeed.
It's so commendable. I mean, I'm hating on him a little bit. I love my brother, but he got shouted out by TJ Smith, so I'm trying to get a shout out. So,
I'm a club music producer, so make some records, and then you can.
Look, hey, you knucklehead.
I mean, hey, DJ never disappointed.
But just like I just stated, an awesome producer and allowing us to talk about any and everything. That is what the village is about. So, and my co-host, he brings such balance to the show, and so
I'll just thank you.
Look, I'm not. Look, y'all gonna have me all. It just lets you know. You never know. Just like you said, you don't know that your students are going home and telling their mother how much they love you.
Yeah.
You've made an impact on people's lives.
Yeah.
And you just don't have no idea.
Yeah, those lessons stay with them forever.
And so we just wanted to. This is why we keep the show going, to make sure we acknowledge those things.
Let's talk about this book we see here.
Yes, we see a book here.
Right, yes.
Let me put it on. Let
we see a book here.
Let me actually show the people what we got going on here.
He got on his live.
Well, this book basically is my story.
Look at that, see?
Overcoming actually incest as a teen. So I was actually sexually abused by a pastor, but he was also a family member. And a lot of people have asked me to share the story, but this is shared at a different, from a different scope perspective, and shares a little more depth to what the abuse looks like as a whole. So a lot of times when I'm asked to share or speak, I just kind of talk about that I was abused and how I overcame it. But I don't talk about the grooming process that happened. I don't talk about what the signs are or what they were, how maybe if my family could have taken a different lens, they might have been able to detect what was going on based on some of the things that I share in the book. So I'm hoping that as people read that, they can connected to what they might be seeing in their homes. I'm hearing, even today, I'm also a co-cheerleading coach at Carver.
I was saying, that is teacher of the universe. Teacher of the universe.
All that way.
I told you, teacher of the universe. I told you.
Yes.
But even today in cheerleading practice, you know, briefly had a conversation connected to this topic, and girls were just saying, Miss Hall, you'd be surprised how many mothers' boyfriends or stepdads, and they were talking around me about how many of their friends would share a story, and that would be the perpetrator. And so, how do, especially because that's part of my story, my mother didn't see the signs, how can parents or people that love their children, what do they look for also in the person that they love who could be preying on their child? So
I don't get
that's the purpose of the book.
Yeah, because I definitely
That's great.
that psychology. I don't get it. Like I just don't. I don't get it. It's like I worked with a brother one time that when I first met him, he just looked like he was like a little off, and then come to find out he was messing with one of the little kids at the school. I was just like so disappointed, like, cause I knew, but I didn't know. You know what I mean? I didn't want to make an assumption, but then come to find out my gut was right. You know what I mean? Like it was just. It's just crazy. I just don't understand the science behind it, you know. But then when I went to a self-development retreat, you know, you never know what other people have been through. I don't know what he may have been.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Not making an excuse for him, but it's a cycle, like how she said, like breaking the cycle. Like it's, and until you get to the root cause of anything in life, you'll never be able to solve it. You know what I mean? And you got to get to the root cause. So I commend you, man. Like breaking that cycle for real.
Yes. Breaking it. Like, again, that just goes back to, like I said, my godmother, the theme was, I am a cycle breaker. And it was just so powerful. And that particular time last year, that was my first time speaking. And she said, get used to speaking. This before the show. This is everything. And it was kind of like I broke a cycle. And being able to even talk to your children, let them know that it's okay to talk to your mom or someone like a Mrs. Hall, Miss Odette, to know that there are safe places for you to speak. But it's very good to speak and not hold that in.
That's for anything.
Right.
For
Well,
real.
and a lot of people, you have different ways of being able to heal and cope too.
Yes.
And some people have just wanted a lot more to let me do something.
Yes.
So that's, you know, let me march, let me hold signs, let me, you know, help somebody else. And so we're trying to make those connections as well.
And you know, I wanted to say something about
She
what
gave me the teacher hand.
She
gave me the finger.
I told you, man, the teacher.
Everything I do is a teacher action, I guess. But you both mentioned earlier how people were sharing that they were being questioned on why they didn't share. When I am approached with that question, or when people say to me that they've been asked that they don't know how to answer, I often tell them to respond with, how come you don't just wash your clothes as soon as you take them off? Why do you pile them up in a basket?
Sure.
Because it's not time yet, right?
Yeah,
because
sure.
they're
That's
really,
a good
really
one.
dirty, and you don't want to be bothered with it at the moment.
That's a good one,
Because you know that you can do it tomorrow if you wake up in the morning. So
that's a good one, right there.
there's a possibility.
This is probably the portion that will be in the marketing.
What? Yes, that was that's real.
Right.
But
Great
it
analogy.
is real. It helps
Great analogy.
people who are far removed from it because they haven't experienced it understand, oh yeah, you're right. We don't just rush to our dirty laundry and wash it right away.
Right,
we are sitting in our bedroom thinking about, oh, I gotta go wash that laundry. But we don't run down the steps and do it.
Yeah.
And it's likened to abuse. Like you're thinking about it all the time. Maybe I should, not now. Tomorrow maybe. How much is it going to cost me? Who's still going to have my back after I share this? Like there's so many factors involved, and just something as simple as laundry can help people who are removed from it understand their feelings.
Oh, Dad.
That's a good one.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Okay.
That's a good one. That was a good one.
That is a good one.
Yes. But always know we can come back. It may not be the time, but know that when it happens, that
it was the right time.
That was worth it.
It was worth it.
Okay. This is good. We're gonna shift just a little bit. And and kind of just talk about the march on the polls. But I also want to emphasize some things about voting. We're going to leave a lot of the portion for next week because that's going to be all strictly voting.
Oh man, that's going to be an interesting conversation for me.
But I want to say it. So as everyone know that I was voted in as a state central committee. But I also want to let you know that Odette has also been reelected as I learned so much as state central committee. Let me finish the sentence before I go back into my excitement. I want to let you know that I learned so much from you and so many others, and I want to thank you again. That's my village, and there's times where I can just text you and just say, is this correct? Because I want to make sure even what I put out is correct. But just knowing that I learned, and what I text her and say, I learned something new today. That is just it's so amazing, and it's so important this year and every election to vote. But we're going to talk about marching the polls. I know you kind of had a little bit in the beginning of it, but let's talk about what can be expected on October 27th. What can people do to get involved and to be a part of this?
Show up. October 27th, 11 a.m. Honestly, we're really marketing this event to women of color, African American, Latina, because so often when we talk about the Women's March, it ended up being very white. And we want to make sure that everybody feels part of this movement, And so we're really clear. We're flyering right in West Baltimore, right by the West Side Skills Center, because we want women to feel like this is their movement. This is all of our movement, and that voting is really the best way to raise your voice, especially with everything going on nationwide, where we're just being torn apart in the media. We're, women in general, and people are, feeling like we should just shut down again, and we can't do that.
No, not at all.
We can't do that. I mean, one of the things that we were also hearing during this Kavanaugh stuff was like, I just can't do this anymore. And we're saying we need to keep going. So this is really a march where we're trying to bring so many people together to say, let's keep going. Because we have to do it. And voting is one of the best ways to make it happen.
Right. Get out to them polls until I collapse.
So the other thing is that, people talked about today being the last day of registering to vote. You can actually register to vote when you vote on early voting. So if you're not registered, you still want to march on the polls and vote.
See how they try to trick them up. See how they trick them up.
Gotta do it. So, and if you've already...
That's what I be talking about, Angie. That's what I be talking about, Angie.
Yes.
That's what I be talking about.
So, hopefully we'll get to the whole thing about same-day registration, even on,
that is on the ballot.
Day. We're getting, it's on the ballot.
That's one of the ballot questions.
So, and I'm assuming you'll talk about that next week. So, but it's just...
It's so much.
It's just so important to show that we're together in this movement, and that we're one of the best ways to keep that going is to vote. Now, something like this is happening all over the U.S. We're part of a couple of national organizations, both Women's March and March On. And so there will be women doing this on their early vote days all over the U.S.
Okay,
and
so I see both party colors are on there, so it's no party affiliation.
Well, it's a nonpartisan event.
Nice.
People can carry whatever signs they want to carry.
Okay, that's good.
Because I'm sure that lots of people have a lot to say, and that's okay. Right. We are partnering with Black Girls Vote, who's doing the Slay the Vote poll party afterwards. So you probably heard there's a movement.
They doing some great work. We actually supposed to be working with them on developing a beverage for the polls. So they doing great work.
So it's going to be great.
Angie, I always got something going on.
I know, right?
I know.
They're doing voter registration in the colleges and high schools, which is great.
I love it.
And then they're at Bowie.
My daughter said she didn't see nobody.
Oh, well,
they should be there. It's HBCU. They should be there.
Right. Well, hopefully one of them will call in. So, and then.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. You can tell her that.
Yeah, she's been trying to call.
Okay.
And so, the poll party, so you rally, march, vote, and then party afterwards.
Nice.
That's how this is going to go.
Nice.
And so we're focused in the city, but we do have women that are involved in the county. And so if women in the county want to come, we will take a van to their early vote poll.
Oh, that's what's up.
So
hey, you can't get no easier than that.
We're trying to make it easy for everybody.
What else you got to give them?
So, producer, we had someone trying to call. Should I just say the number again?
404-436-1277. Good job, Diamond. Good recovery, brother. Good
He's the
recovery.
best producer.
Yeah, man. He said, he said, I got this. I just had it.
He got this.
Yeah, I had it in the cut.
All right. So again, if anyone want to call, just in general, we do have someone that will be calling in regards to the Marshall polls. But if anyone wanted to call in general, just to even congratulate
the teacher of the century, universe, decade,
of the world,
of the whole Baltimore, you already know.
At 404-436-1277.
Look at that.
Sync with brother Nance. No, I was just listen. He said, "Don't say brother name. I mean brother Juan."
Yeah, gotta be brother Nance.
So when we have our caller come in, I'll just make sure that we continue to talk about it. But just going back into just education. This past weekend we had a district. Several districts were out there, and just getting out the vote, just trying to get out the vote, but trying to get people to register, get all enthusiastic about the election, being educated. There were educational forums. It was just wonderful. And so one of the things that were talked about, I did an educational forum, and one of the things was about return of citizens. We're going to do a whole segment of that next week because it was so important. And on top of that, I shared an article just letting you know that you can vote. You know, right. there are some guidelines, but they are not as strict as it used to be. And so please make sure you continue to share that. When I looked at it, it was 640 shares. So you all are really listening and watching and looking and assisting with this process. So kudos to everybody that shared.
I just say make sure we educate the people though on what they're voting for. Like, you know what I mean? Because we can have people going out to vote, but if they don't know what they're voting for, it's like
all right.
Well, make sure we give kudos to Delegate McCrae, who was the one who put that in.
Yeah, that's important. That's important.
We do have an incoming caller.
Caller, you on the air? Hello?
Caller, you're on the air?
I always wanted to say that. Caller, you're on the air.
No, I just repeated what you said.
Okay.
Do we need headphones on?
I don't know if she's calling in.
Hello, caller, are you there?
Oh, how you doing?
Oh.
Yep, this is Paul the Smoke.
I'm sorry, say it one more time. We got a lot going on.
Hello.
But Nance, know me. Congratulations to Aquisha on dedicated hard work in the school.
Thank
Can you hear me or no?
Yes, we heard
I can
you.
hear you now.
And what's your name? I didn't quite get the name.
Andrew
Did you get it?
Andrew should have just let the brother keep talking because we couldn't hardly hear him.
Did you get the name?
No.
Oh, thank you, caller. Well, you didn't get the name.
But thank you, caller. We appreciate you.
Yes, we appreciate you for tuning in.
So how has the school year started off so far this year for you?
Well, I am happy to share that I over the summer spent my summer fundraising. So I got 100 new books from my classroom library that are all culturally relevant and high interest texts that my students are loving now.
Nice,
So
nice.
excited about that.
That's
I
the
have
key.
several students who already, and we're only a month and a half into the school year, who have read 2 up to 3 books already
That's
out of the set that I have. So I have 25 different texts, and one student has already read 3 of them. My goal is for them to surpass the district's expectations, which is a book a quarter, which would be equivalent to 4 books a school year.
What? That's
I
it?
want them-
Wow.
They usually
How
spend a quarter.
low do they have our kids' expectations?
I didn't even know that.
One
Well,
book
they want
a quarter?
them to do like an in-depth study over the
Okay,
course of the
okay,
quarter on
okay,
that one
okay.
text. But I
That
believe
makes
that
sense.
the teachers can use that text to teach the skills, but they can keep going with their reading.
Right,
Sure.
right.
So
Right.
I've added additional resources to my classroom, and it's been successful so far. So I'm excited about that.
Nice.
Great.
The school year will be over soon as Christmas comes. Soon as Christmas.
No, because after Christmas there's this long.
But it seemed like
I know,
I
it's
so
long
afraid
year.
to tell my students like, yo, you know, after Christmas the school year is over because like, as soon as you get back, cause
Don't
it's
tell
testing.
them
No,
Do not
that's what
tell
I'm
them
saying
that.
because you know why? Because it's testing and stuff that goes
Yeah, that
on.
is
You got
true.
spring break. I mean,
We just don't say
and
that.
the weeks go by fast. I never said it in a joking way, you know. How
They come back like,
Yeah, they like Mr.
you know,
Nan
brother
said.
Nan said.
Hey, yeah, like Mr. Nan, and the parents, I'll be like,
I
yep,
watched that video.
yep. I'll be like, yep, I did not say that.
Yeah.
But no, I just wanted to ask you that because, you know, a lot of times how you start the school year off with the kids determine how they're going to finish the school year. You know what I mean? You got to pace them out. Like if you set the expectations high from the beginning, then they're able to go all the way through. And if they have any bumps along the way, at least they have something to aim for that they was already
Absolutely.
striving for, opposed to not having any expectations at all. So that's why I was asking that question.
I believe the exact opposite.
All right, talk to me, Diamond K.
So if you set a small attainable goal,
Okay,
then you're more prone to get people involved because
I agree.
can do that.
I
Baby
agree.
steps, one push up.
I agree.
It turns to 2. But if you say your push up goal is 50 push ups,
I agree.
Be like, oh my God,
I agree.
I can't do it.
I agree. I can agree with that. I can agree with that, Diamond K. All right, I got to count it.
You still got to keep tagging on.
Yeah, what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You
right.
can't let
Get to
leave
one
them
and go
stuck.
to
You
No.
know what I'm saying? You
Right.
cannot leave them stuck. Because sometimes they'll be doing the same stuff for like 2-3 years, and you be like, then what you doing
No,
that with Miss such and
She hasn't
such?
called back.
2
right.
years ago? Don't tell me. And I know she taught you.
Oh.
We can call. We can call. We got
She's
technology
available.
around here.
Oh, yeah,
Technology
exactly. I
around here.
know you can call.
So Carver's still a trade school,
It
right?
is still a trade
It
school.
is.
They
But
do.
Marvel's better.
No, I don't know.
I just did a
but,
call there with y'all.
I only reason why I'm bipartisan because I went to Milford Mill Academy. So I went to the best school in the county, Milford Mill Academy.
Listen, I just
love-
believe in scholars, period.
Yeah,
I
no
don't care
matter
what
where they
mom and
was-
dad.
That was a good answer.
No,
You
but
were
you
a
know,
main teacher of
because
the
I think the
universe.
trade schools are awesome in the city, man. Like I thank God that Maryville was able to, my nephew and my niece able to go there and excel. Like my nephew's doing great, and originally he's supposed to go to Mount St. Joe. You know what I mean? And the best decision he ever made was going to Maryville. I mean, he's excelling at ROTC. I mean, the boy is just, I mean, he's engineering, Norfolk Grumman. I mean, he's doing so many beautiful things just because he's driven. And the schools do have opportunities for these kids. If the kids come and do the right thing, there's a lot of opportunities out here
Right.
for brown
Absolutely.
scholars and Baltimore in particular.
We
Yeah,
need
you know what
more.
I mean?
We need more trade schools because like
Everybody's not
you
gonna
don't
go to
want-
college.
You don't want
You know
to
what I mean?
discourage them. Let me say, this year will be my 20th year class reunion. Whoop whoop, 98. And Mervo, and I want to also say that I am at the same job that hired me 20 years ago.
No kidding.
What?
Wow.
Right from 12th grade.
What?
So shout out to Mervo and all of the teachers that poured into me, even when I was kicking and shouting and saying I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
They pushed me. So yeah, I just had to say that. 20
Your
years,
call is
but that was it.
forwarded to an automatic voice
What was your
message
trade?
system.
Yeah.
4433.
Okay,
I've gone to
then.
school.
Which is great because not very many women go into that.
No, it's
field.
not.
Yeah, I'm about
So
to say, yeah.
I think it's
It's
wonderful
not.
that
It's been a man's world.
right. No, but
Struggle.
but you're an
But I'm
you're an
here.
example for
Yes.
your daughter and for both daughters,
Yes.
and so yeah, that's
I'm
great.
sorry, did we have a call on this?
No answer.
Oh, no answer.
Okay, she didn't answer. Okay, no problem.
She probably was like, who's calling me?
From
You know,
404.
we got one of them numbers that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, we were trying to call one of our other leaders of Baltimore Women United, so
Okay.
just to show it's lots of women involved.
Yes, yes.
Right.
So I'm excited to again have next week. I believe Ben Smith will be coming on as well. He's the chair of the Baltimore City Democratic State Central Committee. We're going to be talking about just voting in general. We're going to have the chair of voter registration committee, which would be Monica Cooper. She's also State Central Committee. And we're going to have the executive director of Alpha Justice. She's going to be talking. That's Nicole Mundo. So that is next week. We're talking about returning citizens. We're talking about, your voting rights in general. And just kicking off early voting. And we're going to definitely still put a plug in for the March on the Polls.
Thank you.
So, yes.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm so just so pleased that all of the love that we get, you know.
Absolutely.
And so thank you for always sharing it.
When
you know,
do things with love,
lives.
you know, you get love back. You gotta do everything with love. You get love back.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Everything.
Well, and I want to compliment both of you. You've had some really tough topics on this show. And I think you're great at the dialogue, and I really appreciate being on here, but also all the work that you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, we all in the same fight together, you know, and you know, Baltimore is a very unique city, you know. It's a special place, you know what I mean? And that's why, like, when all the stuff was going on, we ran all of those other folks up out of here, because we have a strong activist group here, and we have a voice, and we understand how we need to connect. It's not a color thing, it's a human thing here in Baltimore, and we recognize that. So, like, I think that's what makes the show dynamic, easy, you know, to do, because, you know, treat people how you want to be treated, and you know, that's the key to life, for real, and the key to success. So I'm just thankful to have you guys on here. You know, I know LaQuisha very well, so it was great to see her and her husband. You know, I haven't seen them in a minute, so it was awesome to see them promoting a great book. Where can they pick this book up at, actually?
They can get it on my site, LaQuishaHall.com. It's also available on Amazon as well.
Okay, LaQuishaHall.com.
It's titled Unholy Communion, for those who can't see it.
We'll make sure that we put on our page. Do you have something that you can send me, and I'll.
Well, this is not the only book. You write books now.
She
writes books
I
now.
remember what you told me outside.
She writes books.
Figure out what we're gonna do with.
Oh, well, you know, whatever.
I know. We gotta figure it out. If you register.
Oh yeah, we're giving away a book, man.
Yes.
Like, we're giving away a book, so we even got to figure out.
Maybe we might do a question. We gotta figure out.
I don't know what type of.
names.
I mean, we can't think of a question on the.
No, we can't.
Think of a number to 1 to 10.
Oh no!
Give me a number we should thinking about from 1 to 100. You know what I mean? Call in. Next caller.
I would love for, like, since we're talking about even the voting, maybe like if it's your first time going to vote or something. I don't know. We're gonna figure out.
I would like to give it to.
Look, we got all these.
I think it'd be cool to try to connect the book with a organization or something that actually deals with that topic as a community read. You know what I mean? Like, it's given to like a director or something, or someone that does like the engagement with the people at the location. I don't know. You know, maybe we can find some. And maybe they don't have to ask a question. Maybe they can just tell us why they would want the book.
Ooh, how about that? How about
do
we
you
make
need
them
the book?
Right, because you're an English teacher.
He said,
no writing. No.
I'll grade any papers at the hour.
Right, I'm about to say it. She doing enough great. Trust me. That man. Listen.
No, it has to be like one sentence.
Ooh, that great thing. What, man? Listen, I commend teachers.
Unfortunately, we was not prepared.
No, just tell us why. I mean, I think if a person calls and gives why do you want the book? Like, what is the purpose of you wanting this book? A lot of us don't want you to get a free book if you're not going to read it.
Out there
yeah,
thinking,
you know what I mean?
I need to know some stuff.
Right.
I'm dating and
you know.
How about this? I'm not sure if you're okay with this or not.
Me?
Anyone?
Okay.
So tomorrow is let's say my babies, Mervo. Tomorrow is the first general meeting, the PTSA meeting, and maybe a parent there.
Yeah, maybe you can do that. You know, I mean, Mercy like Mervo gets all the prizes here. I mean, Diamond K like Mervo get all the prizes.
Carver's already getting her.
Oh, they have the prize already. So they actually see it every day. You're right. I agree.
Actually,
disregard the statement.
That participate in my mentoring program will get to read it together.
Oh, they get to read it as a group, so they like get discussion and talk about it.
Do that?
What I just said, give it to. I think we should give it to.
She just told us today, so it was like.
But I think a good. Okay, that's cool.
You didn't prepare us properly for this. So anyway,
beautiful cover too, by the way.
Figure it out.
Beautiful.
Tashina Davis.
Shout out to Tashina Davis who did the cover. This is a beautiful cover.
Purposely created. She is amazing.
Yeah, this is a nice cover.
Yes.
I mean, what was the idea behind the concept?
Several covers before.
I can imagine.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like a church window.
That's exactly what we were going for. Praise the Lord.
See, brother, that was my marketing my marketing degree.
Broken glass.
Yes, exactly. I saw that too.
Represent the pieces that I may have been broken into during the time.
So let's turn it back around, y'all. This cover. Make sure y'all support the sister. You know, it's you know, Thanksgiving coming up, all the holidays. Great read. People, once kids are going to be out of school, don't let them be idle-minded. Let them have something to read. Stay inspired.
I'm also writing a sequel to this book that should be released in 2019.
Look at this.
Yes, it's going to be. Yes, I'm so excited about that because.
Oh, I think we have one.
No, it ain't nothing popping.
I was like, maybe we got a call or something. We're gonna figure it out though. So I do want to thank you both for coming on the show, being our wonderful guests.
Yes, it was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yes.
Actually, I just want to probably
we're gonna have a sign the book
if
too.
you can let us know how to get in contact with you and or the organization and anything that you wanted to say before we.
Sure. So Baltimore Women United, we have a website, BaltimoreWomenUnited.org, Facebook page, Twitter, so you can reach us at all of those places, and just Google me. I'm pretty easy to find. But just show up. The flyers are getting all over the place. We'd love to see everybody there. Thank you for the opportunity.
March on the polls.
That's right.
Thank you.
March on the polls, October 27th.
That's right.
Yes.
October 27th.
We're going to push it again next week.
Thank you.
In case you won't forget. And LaQuisha.
Well, of course, you can find me through my name, LaQuishaHall.com, as well as for people who might have been tuning in and they're just interested in what I'm doing in Baltimore City schools. I'm on all social media at Mrs. Hall Scholars. So it's MRS Hall Scholars with an S at the end on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And it showcases actually all of my years at Carver and the great things that my kids have done, all positive news coming out of Baltimore City schools.
Right, so that's good. Because there's a lot of good going on in the city schools, man.
2 published books.
I mean, seriously.
That's also documented on there. So
Great.
2 published books by you or your students?
My students.
Nice.
And one of them won an award for Youth Authors of the Year.
Wow. Nice. What year was that? That was recently? What year was that?
That was in 2016.
Nice.
And it came from the ILA Awards, which is the Indie Author Legacy Award.
Nice. That's what's up. See, even exposing them to stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, man, I'm telling you, a great teacher is an amazing thing. I'm telling you, seriously.
Yes.
I commend you what you do. I salute all the great teachers. There's a lot of good teachers that's going to be great, but the great ones keep leading the way because people are definitely watching. You know what I mean? Seriously.
A lot of great people in this city, period.
Yeah, man. And just create the camaraderie. We got to create that camaraderie at school, amongst the teachers. You know what I mean? Amongst the staff. And we have to build that. We can't expect the kids to be together if we're not together in the school, from the top on down. So, that's important.
Right. Absolutely. So thank you all for tuning in. I will let Brother Nance.
Oh man, I thought you was gonna take it out. I'll take it out.
I put it in. But anyway, I want.
See, that did not sound right. That did not sound. Diamond K, that did not sound right. Diamond K.
So before I turn it over to Brother Nance, I do want to just shout out a new business that's in the community. It is Black owned. Female owned. It is called Be More Righteous. It has vegan food.
Okay.
Somewhere we get ready to go because they close at 8:00. So we closing this thing down. I'm gonna let Odette help me pick out something on here because it's like foreign to me. But I am going to support, and I'm asking and encouraging others to support the new business.
Where are they located?
More Righteous, right upstairs.
Really?
Yes.
Well, they're going to be carrying some healthy people juice very soon.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So again, Be More Righteous.
All going up. It's a field trip.
It is BeMoreRighteous.com. You can go onto their website.
Yes.
Again is women and Black owned. Her name is Jasmine. So shout out to
Jasmine.
Jasmine. I told her that I would shout her out. Never met her until today when I went inside.
But that's how we get down around here.
I love to make sure that we support one another.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for tuning in always, each and every Tuesday.
Absolutely.
We have some wonderful people coming ahead of us, and I'm just amazed at just the list of people we're trying to fit in. So this is when we have like 2 people trying to fit in one segment. This is good. So I'm gonna let Brother Nance let us.
Well, as always, you know, again, it was like I said, it was an honor to have you guys on the show. You know, it's all about restoring the village. It's about like doing the right thing out here in the world. So as always, we just say peace and health. Everyone, we don't have good evenings. We create them. You know, live the life that you want. Have the love around you that you want, and be who you want to be, and just make sure that you're being true. Fully out here, and remember, we all need each other. You know what I mean? So as a village, let's continue to restore each other. Make sure you keep your mind in the game and restore your mind daily. So I just want to say, everybody, peace and health. Thank y'all for tuning in and Restoring the Village Radio. Much love and respect. Love y'all.
Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace and health. Peace and health. That's gonna be my shirt too.
Yeah, she's got the clothes.
I'm going to definitely go upstairs because I.